Hi, he's Richard.
He's Glenn.
We're Godowski and Associates, and today we're going to talk about funding that you might be available with your corporation or even your sole proprietorship.
For sure.
So what two programs are we going to deal with?
So I'm going to talk about the Alberta Jobs Now program.
And I'm going to talk about the HASCAP, the Highly Affected Sectors Creditability Program. That's a mouthful.
Oh, say that 5 times fast, Glenn.
No, can't be done. So Richard, why don't you start us off?
For sure. So to get to the website, probably the easiest thing to do is to open up a Google and just type in the Alberta Job Grant Now. It'll come up with the Alberta Jobs Now program. Click on that. It'll take you to the website run by the Alberta government. And as you can see here, if it says the Alberta Jobs Now program, you know you're at the right spot. This program was initially announced back in the spring, but what happened was with feedback from small businesses and from people who are trying to apply, the Alberta government recently announced some changes to it that would allow more companies, small businesses to access these grants here and just make it a little bit easier to qualify for eligible new hires. So as we can go down here, so improvements to the new program, new businesses and organizations established within the last year. So obviously there's businesses that are always incorporating, and so it was really challenging for new companies to hire new people and try and access this grant. So that allows them the opportunity to apply. We can now apply up to 10 new hires. So and so this gives you the flexibility. If you kind of know in advance how many people you want to hire, then you can go ahead and do that. It does say that employers can receive an exemption for up to 20 new hires. So obviously, if you're planning to expand rapidly, you'll definitely want to contact the Alberta government at this email right here, jnp@gov.ab.ca, and you can see if you can apply for an exemption.
So are these for full-time or part-time?
So these are for full-time hires. Okay, so definitely not for part-time hires. So we'll actually go, Glenn, thank you for mentioning that. So eligible new hires here. So the funding, it can be up to 25% of a new hire salary, up to $25,000 per employee. Okay, so and with that being said, with Glenn's comment, you do have to commit to hiring these individuals and keeping them on your payroll for 1 entire year. Okay, so that may be a challenge to some because obviously, when you're in business, you don't know if that first hire is going to work out with your company. It does allow you for this grant that you are able to replace your original hire 2 times. So unfortunately, if it doesn't work out for the individual and for yourself, you at least have 2 more opportunities to replace them. Again, you have to be committed to replacing them. You can't just hire somebody, let them go within, let's say 3 months, and then not continue on with it. So
not replace them. So you have to replace somebody
yeah.
if they leave or they don't work out.
For sure. And obviously this program, again, it's been announced in the spring, so we don't know what would happen if you've tried twice already and unfortunately things don't work out. We just haven't had any examples yet of what would happen in that case. But I imagine that if you don't commit to that full year, what would happen is you'd have to pay back the 25% subsidy.
The amount of the grant that you got.
The amount of the grant that you receive, yeah, for sure. Okay.
I see that they don't have a completed date, that they've opened it up on November 10th. But I noticed they said there's not must be applied by a certain date, but only until all the funds are allocated.
Yeah.
So we don't know what that number is.
No, for sure. And actually, as I can go back up to the very top here, kind of what Glenn was talking about, provide up to $370 million to help private and non-private businesses with job support. So as Glenn said, the first intake originally closed on July the 23rd. This new intake is open starting November the 10th until funding is allocated. So just as what Glenn mentioned, we don't really have an end date. We just know that they're willing to hand out these grants until the funding has been used up. This is a federal and Alberta initiative, okay? So that's the case. And then just kind of go back and hit up a couple more key points here. So for us, we are aware that when you apply for this, you will actually have to submit pay stubs on a I believe it's a weekly or semi-monthly basis, just so that you can show support and they have assurances that you are hiring someone and keeping them on staff. Okay, the important thing here, as you go down and you click down to the webpage, there are eligibility rules, so please make sure that you read these rules quite carefully. There are some restrictions that you want to make sure. So one of the nice things of opening this up now is that previously the hires had to be either fully unemployed or part-time somewhere else, part-time somewhere else. Now they've opened it up so that if you had to hire somebody that is going to be a full-time person and you hire them from a previously full-time position, they are eligible to receive this wage subsidy here.
Terrific.
Okay. Yep. And so the last thing I do want to stress, start date for new hires can be no longer than 90 calendar days after the application approval. Okay, so really important that if you are hiring someone or you already have, that you apply within the 90 days, have it approved. Okay. The other thing too is that, again, 90 calendar days, if you know that you might hire somebody, let's say on sometime, let's say January 15, 2021, and you know that it's in place, please make sure you get that application in. They will pre-approve for this grant subsidy ahead of time and get you into the program. Okay, so we have had a client that went through. They applied sometime in mid-November and they are approved by the end of November. So turnaround time, it seems like it's anywhere between 2 and 3 weeks. So time-wise, it's going pretty quick. Obviously, the Alberta government wants to work with you and work with everyone here affected by our economic struggles here, and really want to hand out the grant money as it's available.
Terrific.
Okay, and so again, just to go back, it is go into Google, type the Alberta Job Grant Now, and it'll come up with the Alberta Jobs Now program. It'll take you right to the Alberta website.
Terrific. So now let's move on to HASCAP. HASCAP is a program, and again, if like Richard said, if you type into your search for HASCAP, it is being run through the Business Development Bank of Canada. That's the government the federal government doing the funding. The actual loans themselves, you would go through your local financial institution, be it ATB, Scotiabank, TD, Royal, doesn't matter. You would make the application through your bank, not through BDC. The loans are anywhere from $25,000 to $1 million. Again, they're government guaranteed. It's a low interest rate loan. So right now they're saying that the interest rate should be 4%, and it is a 10-year term loan. So that the repayment, if you borrow $25,000, you can have it set up to repay over the next 10 years. They also are including a 12-month postponement. If you worry, you don't have to make your first payment for up to 12 months. So that's a great thing when you're getting started on this.
For sure.
It is available until December 31st of 2021. So unlike the jobs grant that will cut off when they use all of the funding, this has a hard deadline of December 31st. So you need to get it in shortly. The basis of qualifications are essentially your business has had a major reduction, 50% decline for at least 3 months in the last year, and it doesn't have to be consecutive months. So go through the eligibility and make sure that you qualify. It shouldn't be too hard. One of the major restrictions that they have is that you cannot use this to pay off another loan. So as an example, if you say had a CEBA loan, which is coming due next year, you can't use your HASCAP loan to pay off your CEBA loan. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose is to get you back up and running.
And can you remind everybody when the CEBA loan is due, Glenn?
CEBA must be, in order to get the remission of the funds that you've paid. If you have the $40,000, you must pay back the $30,000 by December 31st of 2022. Same thing applies if you have the $60,000. you must repay the $40,000 by the end of December of 2022 in order to get the $10,000 or the $20,000 grant, as it were. And if you don't pay it all back, then the amount of the portion that is non-payable is a percentage, and then it turns into a 5-year term loan. Nobody knows what the interest rate is yet.
Not yet.
We'll see how that goes. So yeah, the CEVA loan is due at the end of next year. So if you follow through, again, look at the website, and they've got a pretty good Q&A on there. And like I said before, the biggest thing is you've got to apply through your financial institution. Don't go through the BDC, because they will just turn you back to whatever bank or financial institution that you're presently dealing with. So that, again, pretty much covers HASCAP and the Jobs Now program. Any final remarks?
So as far as the HASCAP financial statement wise,
We don't know yet what the banks have been asking for. We've had one client who's successfully gotten a HASCAP loan, but I did not ask if he had to provide financial statements. He had to provide details to prove that he was down 50% over a 3 months period. So annual financial statements may not do that unless your whole year went down.
Yeah. So at least you need monthly financial statements to show that drop in revenue, and I imagine bank statements too.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So next time I'd like to talk about the Bitwarden, my password safe, and you've got a few items that you want to go through when we get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So just in closing, again, Richard, Glenn, Kadowski and Associates,
It's not boring, really.
thank you.